Thank you, Amber. Hello, everyone. It's a common perception that compliance is a hurdle for DevOps. I'm here to break that perception, show you how you can adopt DevOps practices while still complying with regulatory requirements. I'm sure there will be good takeaways for you all. So I would like to quickly touch upon DevOps, compliance. Then I'm going to show you what should be your steps for compliance in a DevOps world. I'll show you some examples of Atlassian products and internal processes on this topic. And at the end, if we have time, we'll do some questions. Many of you here might be familiar with the term DevOps, but let's level that understanding. DevOps is a culture where dev and ops collaborate to build a faster, more reliable release pipeline. It is underpinned by three principles. Flow, make work visible across groups, that is dev and ops. Limit the work in progress, reduce handoffs, resist the urge to blindly throw work items over the fence to someone who has no context. Work as a system, not in a silo. Amplify feedback. Try to catch errors early, and when incidents do happen, gather all stakeholders and try to resolve those incidents. Continuous experimentation. Create a culture where taking risk and learning from failures is seen as a step forward. Everyone benefits from constant experimentation and open-mindedness. You might be familiar with term software compliance, but let's level that understanding as well. Software compliance is software must adhere to specification, policy, standard, or law. So let's break down software compliance. You might be developing software for different industries in different countries. Example, automotive, finance, healthcare, or technology. This would mean complying with different regulatory requirements, for example, SOX, HIPAA, and various ISO certifications. And this is where your consultants and experts come in and they help you set up these compliance requirements for your organization. All of these requirements will have common controls. Example, access control, security, traceability, software quality, backup and recovery. And mostly administrators are tasked with maintaining and creating and maintaining these controls. Some of you may already know that Atlassian products have capabilities built in to enable and adapt such controls. So now we have common understanding of DevOps and compliance. Before I go further, I would like a quick show of hands to know how many of you follow DevOps practices? That's great. How many of you need to work with regulatory requirements? Does that slow you down? Yeah, that's what I was expecting. Yeah, so the challenge is to deliver software faster using DevOps practices while still complying with these regulatory requirements. Before we can overcome this challenge, it is necessary that you strive to create a culture where compliance is not only risk and compliance team's responsibility, but it's everyone's responsibility. You must avoid silos from forming, and teams must collaborate with each other. Approaching compliance in a DevOps world is a three-step process. First is that you need to identify the requirements, then you need to set up controls, and then you need to iterate. You need to monitor those controls and then iterate and improve on them. So step one is to identify requirements. So when you're given, if you are an admin, if you are given a requirement to blindly follow, you need to question that assumption. Don't take the requirements on the face value. Consider the spirit of the requirement. As an admin, ask how you can work together and have you explored all the alternative options. create a backlog of tasks for visibility across the team. And as I mentioned earlier, all these various regulatory requirements will have some common controls. Okay. So while setting up the controls, it is necessary that you leave room for experimentation. Example, you can set controls on your default branches of the SCM, but not on all of the branches. Avoid setting up controls on high-frequency loops. You must not slow down your team. And as you may already know, automation is a key DevOps practice. Automate as much as possible. It is less error-prone. Once you have set up these controls, the next step is to iterate and improve on them. So it is important to review your processes periodically. You need to ask a question, can you change DevOps practices? Look for alternative ways to solve things. Make it a part of your culture to continuously improve your processes and become more efficient and less error-prone. Yeah. So let's look at some of the examples from Atlassian products and processes that can help you follow compliance in a DevOps world without slowing down your team. So about authorization and permissions. So all the Atlassian products have permissions and user management built in. But recently, we have gone a step further. In Bitbucket Server and Data Center, we have introduced project-level administration, where you can move settings like merge checks, branching model to a project, and all the repositories which are under that project inherit those settings. This makes managing permissions not only easier, but you can do that with fewer admins. Software quality is extremely important for delivering a successful product. So every change to important branches like master, feature, or bug fix must go through a strict code review process. This is done via pull request, and we also have a lot of automated tests to provide enough test coverage. Our approach to security is by setting up guardrails. So recently, we have introduced features like commit verification and GPG signed commits to make sure commits are pushed by actual authors. For the cases where you need to audit them, you can trace a piece of work from a Jira issue to the Bitbucket branch or commit where this was developed and reviewed, to the Bamboo build to see what tests were run against it and when and where was it deployed. All this is made possible by deep integration between our products. All the products also provide audit logs, which keep track of any addition, changes to these controls, as well as any other important system settings. So those were some of the examples for capabilities in our product to address compliance controls. You may ask, how do you track and monitor controls which span beyond these products? So this is an example of internal Jira project. So this is how we are using Jira as a compliance tool. So we have a separate risk management project. It tracks compliance controls, rules, SLAs, and exceptions. This is mostly automated using Jira workflows and product integrations. In the same project, we also get quick overview from different reports, example SLA goals and exceptions. So by using Jira as a compliance tool, we don't have to manually keep track of compliance controls in spreadsheets or documentation. So before I wrap up, I want to quickly reiterate that compliance might look as a hurdle for DevOps, but if you follow the right set of tools and processes, it can be easily cleared. So as you know, this is a very broad topic, and I could not cover everything in this lightning talk. I would love to hear your stories and experiences after this talk. I'll be at the Bitbucket booth. Yeah. Thank you.